before the start time. So before my 200-meter men declarations must be in by 2:30, and the women's declarations in by 3:30. And for all rules and regulations regarding the relays and declarations, either refer to the BUCS website, or I think if you've got a problem, I think the rates might have been in there as well. So I think we have at least 2 or 3 BNS in this opening 3,000 metres.
Send them round. Backwards way on. Backwards way on. Usually Yorkshire saying backwards way on. Training Rick now is living up here, I'll be talking like me on less cases.
And 2 minutes in this opening heat with James Howden with Beckett and that is Quincy Hull, DNS. Well, let us get underway and then we'll take you through the field.
So on to the 3,000 metres, 3 heats for the men, top 3 in each, and then 3-time qualifying positions. So in this one we've got Osama Meslek, the 2018 BUCS indoor 1500 metre champion. Also Jackson Mountford of Bath, Jonathan Tobin of Sheffield, Aidan Rigby of Cambridge, Owen Thomas of Nottingham, James Gormley of Birmingham, the defending champion. They're just in second place behind Osama Meslek. Looking for someone else to come through, and that's Imperial's Daniel Mulryan. Also Matthias Grixty of Hull, Finton Stewart of Leeds, James Havigham of Leeds Beckett, who we saw earlier in the 1500 metres, and James Walker of Nottingham. So 3 Jameses in this heat. Can we get a James 1, 2, 3? Seems unlikely at the moment. James Gormley winning that battle. Top 3 going through automatically once again. So Daniel Moran leads them out. So 15 laps of the track, of course, and we'll get an idea of the splits every 5 laps in terms of the kilometres run. So 12.5 laps to go now, or just less than that. Mulryan from Meslek, Italian international. He was 8th at the European Under-23 Championships in Sweden last year. Over 1,500 metres on that occasion, but good over both the 15 and 3,000.
As they come around here,
So Mull Ryan from Meslek, from Gormley still. So 11 laps to go now, so next time around in 200 metres time we'll know the split for the first kilometre. Beginning to bunch up just a little. We've got the Sheffield man Jonathan Tobin in there, and Jackson Mountford at Bath. Fintan Stewart of Leeds just almost falling off this group. Oh no, that's a Nottingham athlete. In fact, the man with the Leeds vest is very much in this pack as we get a closer look. 2:48.67. So we'll just mark that time down and see how the other heats compare. But top three going through, you've got a group of 6 out front and yet to be separated and closing together all the time. So it's as you were, 8.5 laps to go now, down the back straight where a decent amount of spectators have ringside seats. So you'd expect on times that are Simon Meslek 7:58.82 his best, and James Gormley 8:09.4 will be strong enough to go through from this heat. Can Gormley successfully defend his title? Well, Ryan still leading, and I think the others are happy for him to do so and just wait in behind, as we so often see in races like this. Fintan Stewart running the longer route there in lane 2, but not as tight inside lines. I'm sure he'll be pretty happy. Shouts of go on James. Could be one of 3 people in this field that they're cheering on. So you just wonder whether Ryan, continuing to lead this one, isn't pushing on the pace, and wonder whether the others will do anything about that. 6 laps to go. So no change to the order. So let's have a look at this 2 kilometre time. Remember, 2:48 initially, so 5:40. So they have now slowed. So 2:52 for the second kilometre, 4 seconds slower than the opening one. They have dropped the Bath athlete Jackson Mountford. So less than 800 metres to go, around 6:18 on the clock. Mull Ryan, Meslek, Gormley, and also in this the Leeds and Sheffield athletes, Tobin and Stewart. Well, becoming more and more pedestrian now. 600 metres to go, and top 3 going through. It's beginning to look like it may be just those 3. Well, at least that's the danger. And you have the feeling that Meslek is just ready to pounce, and Gormley is going to track him. And Meslek decides that he's got 500 metres to go, and he can see this one out. And the worry is it might be tough for Mulryan now. Let's see what he's got left for these last 2 laps. So 7:21 on the bell, and shout from the crowd says keep it fast, and Meslek, well, perhaps subconsciously heeding that advice anyway. So are these going to be the top 3 athletes going through? Meslek, Gormley, Tobin.
Sheffield University athlete in third. Those 3 look now their clear.
So these 3 guys coming home now. Clearer and clearer all the time. James Gormley is just going to come through on the inside here. 8:26.30 in the end. Well, at one point he wasn't sure whether he had another lap to go with the bell ringing for the lapped athletes. But 8:26.30 on the clock. So 2:46 for that last kilometre after 2:48 and 2:52. So the bell would have been ringing for the Nottingham athlete there, James Walker, you can see. And so, yeah, Meslek unsure for a moment. Well, the first athlete out here is going to be Jonathan Hopkins, a BUCS veteran and 3 times steeplechase champion outdoors, of course, in 2015, 2014, 2015 and 2016. He was a finalist at the Commonwealth Games for Wales. 8 minutes 9:42 over the flats. Tom Mortimer, someone who's had experience of racing for Great Britain at the European Cross Country Championships, notably in 2018 as an under-20. Also some of the cross country internationals on British soil as well. So just the 9 athletes on the start line, so just trying to work out which of those aren't starting. Looks like no Gavin Bryson of Heriot Watt. We certainly have got Michael Ward of Birmingham there in the centre, Jonathan Hopkins on the inside, Andrew Smith and Tom Mortimer alongside him, Josh Edwards of East Anglia, Henry Hart of Imperial, no number 8 William Estony of Queen Mary. Joe Wigfield of St Mary's is there though, as is Tom Graham Marr of Aberdeen. Well, the pole vault bar coming down there, just mistaken as the gun noise by the St Mary's runner. So green card. "15 laps of the track then, the second heat of the men's 3,000 metres. Hopkins, Smith, Mortimer, Edwards, Hart, Ward, Wakefield and Graham Marr. So Hopkins uses his experience here, leading them out. Top three to go through automatically, and at the moment the two following him are Andrew Smith and Joshua Edwards. Michael Ward of Birmingham hoping to follow James Gormley through from the last heat, and then the British international Tom Mortimer. So we've got a group of 8 thus far, and one athlete has dropped off. That's Henry Hart of Imperial. Well, this race doesn't have to be too fast for more than 3 to go through, and then just one more preliminary remaining after this. Michael Ward has moved now into 3rd place, and Tom Mortimer, the first of those outside the automatic qualifying positions. Around 1 minute 40 after the first 400 metres. 600 metres in fact. So this time they'll come through with 11 laps to go. Hopkins, 8 minutes 9.42 is lifetime best. The Commonwealth finalist, 3 times BUCS outdoors champion. He switched from Cardiff Met now to Cardiff. Cross-city rivals, of course. Now beginning to bunch together. Let's see how the opening kilometre compares. It was 2:48.67 when Dan Mulryan led through for Imperial. So it's not going to be too much faster. 2:47.26, so 1.4 seconds. That last 200 metres saw a bit of a slowing down of that pace. Well, slowly moving through the group is Michael Ward of Birmingham. But Hopkins confident, reigning there out front for the time being, the Welshman. Doing just enough to stay in that position, and the others satisfied to sit in behind. Just trying to get enough space individually. Mortimer and Ward just on the outside, making it a chicane between them. So often see Hopkins having to battle over those high steeplechase hurdles in the middle of his lap, so very different challenge for him here, but still one which he's accustomed to. That personal best of 8 minutes 09, the same as James Gormley, only different by 0.02 of a second. So 1.5 laps remaining of this second kilometre, and Tom Mortimer now the one to try and move through. 3 doesn't go into 5 in terms of automatic qualification through to the 3,000 metre final. But Hopkins doing an outstanding job here, and you feel he has the quality to hold on. So a certain amount of bravery, but no surprising. So 5:40 in the first race, this 2 kilometre mark, and now it is 7 seconds quicker, so a marked difference. They had begun to slow down last time around, but here they have maintained their pace. Fraction faster in this second kilometre, so impressive stuff from Hopkins. Well, this could end up being a quick time because we still have 5 athletes in contention, so have to produce a reasonable finish inside these last 3 and a bit laps. Edwards just moving to the outside and allowing the others through. So 6:40 with 600 to go. So 67 seconds for that last 400 metres. It's still Jonathan Hopkins of Cardiff then. Michael Ward of Birmingham now right on his shoulder, and he dares to take over that long time lead. Is that going to be a well-timed effort? Tom Mortimer in third, and the St Mary's man Joe Wigfield. But no sign of Andrew Smith, who's now dropped off the back of this pack, and don't think he'll have a chance to respond. And one goes around the inside, one around the outside of the back marker. 1 lap to go. So Birmingham from Loughborough from Cardiff, and bit of a job here for Hopkins, who's drifted back a bit. Reminded that 8:26 was the time of the first heat. And Hopkins looks as though he will be able to hold on, but this is going to be the winner of the second heat of the men's 3,000 metres. Michael Ward then. In the red of Birmingham, Mortimer second, and Hopkins third. Fairly comfortable in the end. 8:15.50, so really impressive pace from Ward in particular in that last kilometre. 2:42 roughly. So that was the fastest kilometre, faster by 4 seconds than the final kilometre of the previous race, and some 11 seconds quicker overall, and that bodes very well for Joe Wigfield in particular, and maybe even Andrew Smith of Leeds Beckett. Seemed like Joe Wigfield was within 9 seconds of the finisher, maybe, or we're looking at that shot. No, the gap grew significantly in that last 200 metres. It's a good few seconds before Mortimer crosses behind Ward.
Championship best performance in 2002 is 3,000 Gareth Turnbull of Loughborough, 757.9. So very short, 2 hours 30 minutes. We may have one DNS, I counted 11. And we do have one DNS, and that's Tom Harper and John Boyce. So lining up in the inside, we'll be the band universe and student Rory Cockbill. Then alongside it, we'll be John Walls and Harry House from St Mary's. Abdul Khan Sharif, Cambridge University James Thompson, from Cardiff Met James Smith, then Loughborough's Max Taylor, then Central Liverpool Royal students from Harper, from Peel, Mark Pierce, representing West London, Xavier Zangri, then Aberdeen University student Murray, Sheffield.
So 2 heats gone and one remains, and the one we just saw, 8:15, some 11 seconds faster than initially, the opening 3,000 metre heat. And this one features Rory Donville of Bath, Matt Dwerryhouse of Liverpool John Moores, Abdul Khani Sharif, who was the bronze medalist as part of a St Mary's 1-2-3, a sea of blue and white on the podium behind Emil Keres and Ellis Cross. So the whistle goes and these men will move forward towards that start line. So they move forward and then move back like the hokey cokey. And they'll be going round and round. So that gives me a chance to run through the rest of the lineup. Cambridge representative James Coxon, Jake Smith of Cardiff Met, Max Hayden of Loughborough, Thomas Marper of Liverpool John Moores, so 2 LJMU athletes. Then Mark Pierce, formerly of Birmingham, now of Kiel. 8 minutes 7.45, so he was 6th at the BUCS cross country this year, just ahead of Abdul Khani Sharif. 8 minutes 7. Decent time comparative to all the athletes in this competition. Salman Meslek is sub 8 minutes 7:58, but mentioned earlier Jonathan Hopkins 8 minutes 9 and Gormley the same time. And Pierce, BUCS 10,000 metre champion back in 2016. Then Javier Blavia Sandri of West London, Stephen Murray of Aberdeen, Ewan Wilson of Sheffield and Kieran Lewis of Cardiff Met. So Mark Pierce out front. I remember he was a fresher for Birmingham when Johnny Hay took the BUCS cross-country title as part of a Birmingham dominant 1-2. And Mark Pierce now, well, some 5 years into his BUCS career, back in the colours of Kiel. Jake Smith of Cardiff Met in second position, and then it's his teammate Kieran Lewis, in fact. And we did wonder whether Piers Copeland would take part this weekend in any of the middle distance events after his European Under-23 silver medalist last summer. Unfortunately not so. Cardiff Met's Joe Byer, also snapped up, I think, by the Muller Indoor Grand Prix in Glasgow. But Smith looking strong. He's found some space on the inside. 11 laps to go. So you're watching live coverage here of the BUCS Nationals. Get involved on social media with that hashtag bottom left of your screen on Twitter and Instagram. And all the university social medias well up to date with what's going on here inside the English Institute of Sport. Let's have a look at this opening kilometre time then. It's 2:44.57. So it's a couple of seconds faster than the last heat and 4 seconds faster than the first heat. But of course those beyond third place are a little way back. So it probably evens out overall if we're looking at who's going to make it through in time qualifier spots. And of course we've only completed the one of those 3,000 metres here. So Mark Pearce back in front of Jake Smith of Cardiff Met.
He's another very good super chaser. He was 23 champion last year. Ran 8:25.96 indoors in December. But at the moment, this is all about Mark Pearce and Jake Smith. And Jake Smith representing GB European under-23s in the 10,000 metres. The bronze medalist here over 3,000 last year. Well, that's a part of 2018 and into 2019. It was a real breakthrough year for Jake Smith. In December 2018, he took 31 seconds off his previous 3,000 metre PB. At BUCS, where he finished second.
So 7 laps to go, and Smith comes in front once again. Jake Smith, bronze medalist here over 3,000 metres last year. Mark Pearce, great steeplechaser as well. But these two have some gap. Liverpool John Moore's runner is a lap down. It's around a 7-second advantage that these two have. Looks to be that Max Hayden of Loughborough is in third spot. So we'll keep an eye on that. There you can see, top of your screen, you've got Hayden of Loughborough. Sharif of St Mary's is also in that chasing group. I say chasing group, they're not doing that much chasing at the moment. So 5:30 at the 2 kilometre point, so they are 3 seconds quicker. So just eking out that advantage a bit further, but we had a bigger group at the front. So Mark Pearce of Kiel, then Jake Smith of Cardiff Met. Just crossing the line now is Sharif, who's just moved in front of Hayden of Loughborough, with Kieran Lewis, the other man in that chasing group. So they're the top 5, and then just crossing the line after them, one of the Liverpool John Moore's students. So you can see them there on the back straight. And Rory Domville of Bath is also in that third group just about, along with James Coxon of Cambridge. So extremely spread out. So 8:26 for the first heat, 8:15 for the second.
Will he be there? Will he be there? It's 2 laps time. And the most important point when he goes through the finish line.
So 1.5 laps to go for Smith and Pearce, and 1 3/4 laps for Hayden, who now is in third place ahead of Lewis and Sharif.
So our leaders through into the final 200 is 7:46.61.
7:46 as they hit the bell, and 7:56 for Hayden in third place. So Mark Pearce in the red of Kiel now. They will much struggle to see those thus so far behind across the line, arm in arm. The happy couple of athletes who've qualified, and Hayden finishing third, Sharif joining him but not through automatically. So 8:19 a bit slow. There's Donville of Bath finishing, and he caught Coxon of Cambridge on the last lap, looks like. So 8:19. In the end it was 4 seconds slower, but these two had every reason to slow down. And well, with 1 lap to go, there was a 10-second gap. I suspect that Hayden might have got a bit of an inroad into that towards the end, but there is a strong possibility that more than one of those time qualifiers could come from that fast second heat. Well, the women's 3,000 metres will follow, and that will begin in 10 minutes time.
limits of relay declarations must be in line. 15 double. 11 athletes on my start, starting with DNS. And we do 80 goals with Nottingham DNS. So lining up on the inside, on Cardiff Cooper, then Strathclyde, Terry Canvas, from Sheffield University, Stella Cross, then Edinburgh University's Caroline Cameron, Zoe Bates, representing Aberdeen, Sophie Cooper, Anglia Rusty, the St Mary's University students, Lucy Martin, representing Birmingham, Leslie Astridge, from Loughborough, Kirsty Walker, and completing the line-up for Swansea University's Abby Goodwin. Heat 22, women's 3000, the qualification, the first four. From each heat will be joined by the four fastest non-qualified qualifiers.
Two heats of the women's 3,000 metres coming up, and we have Cardiff's Lauren Cooper, Kerry McAngus of Strathclyde, Stella Cross of Sheffield, Caroline Cameron of Edinburgh, Zoe Bates of Aberdeen, Sophie Cowper of Anglia Ruskin, Lucy Marland of St Mary's, Yasmin Ostrich of Birmingham, Kirsty Walker of Loughborough, and Abigail Goodrick of Swansea. So I can tell you that the top four in each of these two heats will go through to the final, and then four best times after that. That makes 12. Quick maths. 4 plus 4 plus 4. We'll do some more times tables tomorrow, don't you worry. Well, Karen McAngus, perhaps one of the ones to watch out for. A training partner of Laura Muir and Gemma Reiki, who have set middle distance running a light. Gemma Reiki with some fabulous times, British indoor records in the 800 metres and the mile. 1:57 in Glasgow last month, over 800 metres. So McAngus, 9:25.50 lifetime best. Fourth at the British indoors, over 1,500 metres last year. Zoe Bates, another Scot, she was third at the Scottish Championships in Grangemouth last August. 9:50.29 her best. And Kirsty Walker, fourth at the BUCS Cross Country Championships, 9:58.27. So quite bunched together. Yasmin Ostrich represented her club, Blackheath and Bromley, at the European Clubs Championships last year. So it looks like Sophie Cowper on the outside for Anglia Ruskin, and Kerry McAngus looking tidy on the inside. Can tell you who qualified then from the men's 3,000 metres, hot off the press. Andrew Smith, in the end, from that fast second heat, did make it some 6.3 seconds back from the winner, and then with a time of 8:21.88, and then some 7 seconds slower, 7 seconds slower, 8:28.07 Abdul Khani Sharif, and 8:28.25 for Kieran Lewis. So those were the three in that chasing group, best part of 100 metres back from Jake Smith and Mark Pearce out front in that final heat of the men's race. And That chasing group all made it through. Missing out by just a few tenths is Joe Wickfield of St Mary's. So we're looking for the opening kilometre time for these women in this first race of two, 3:19.81. So McAngus leading this stroll through into the second third of the race now. Nine laps to go and line astern, so we've got this group of 8 athletes. Stella Cross just hanging on to the back. Yasmin Ostrich in front of her, and then Kirsty Walker of Loughborough just wearing leg number 10. That's Lauren Cooper of Cardiff in front of her, and number 8, Lucy Marland, the St Mary's runner. But the top 3, Zoe Bates of Aberdeen, Sophie Cabra of Anglia Ruskin, and Strathclyde's Kerry McAngus. So around 80 seconds for that last 400 metres.
The championship best set back in 2005 by Bill First. BUCS World Championships. And I saw these at the West Year Palmer of 9:08. So Strathclyde 1, Aberdeen 2, 2 Scottish universities in the 2 leading positions. Zoe Bates was last year's Scottish University.
Sophie Cabra dropping back a couple of spots. Zoe Bates of Aberdeen is in second place then. McAngus, Bates, Marland, the top 3. Bates now dropping back a little further.
Lucy Marland there, she's sitting in third place there. She's the reigning Welsh indoor 2,000 metres champion. And also the reigning Welsh 5,000 metres champion.
So we've now got 7 athletes well clear, and they're trying to get 4 spots to qualify for the women's 3,000 metre final. And that final, by the way, is scheduled to take place tomorrow at 2:10. And the final is one of a number of races where champions will be decided on the final day. And you can see the schedule by looking on the BUCS website or searching for BUCS Athletics online. You've got all the entries and race numbers and the timetable there for you. There's also live coverage of the swimming. There are 8 sports across the city of Sheffield here. The swimming is at Ponds Forge, and more happening just across the road from here, and down the corridor there is the badminton competitors as well. The only racket here is the noise being made by the crowd. 800 metres to go, around 7:28 on the clock, and there's a real bunch now behind McAngus. Very little energy being used, and I think that the athlete behind them is a lapped runner Zoe Bates is trying to stay with this group, and Yasmin Ostrich also trying to stay. You feel as though there's a change in pace not too far away. 2.5 laps to go. Makangas, as ever, remains out front. Lucy Marland of St Mary's in the blue and white stripes. So you should be getting more and more accustomed with your colours now. Just 2 laps to go, 8:50 on the clock. So they will hit the bell this time around. It's Kerry Makangas of Strathclyde, who've won BUCS titles over the years with Mari Patience in the 400 hurdles, Vari Hendry as well in the 800 metres. Hero the 3000, and Kerry Makangas looking pretty strong. Bates of Aberdeen in second place. Lucy Marland of St Mary's is there too, and then Lauren Cooper of Cardiff. So those would be the front 4 that qualified if the race ended now, but there's still more to go. And Yasmin Ostrich in the red of Birmingham is trying to push on. Round the outside, here she comes, someone who's never broken 10 minutes, 10:32, so she's going to smash her lifetime best here. But here comes Cooper and Walker. Oh my goodness me! And I'm sure that Makangas would have been shocked there by the absolute train of athletes finishing quickly. And no surprise that that happened, because just felt as though there was so many with much faster PBs. Makangas capable of 9:25 at best, is 50 seconds slower here. Well, goodness me, you might well have to look at photo finish at the end of a 3,000 metre heat. In fact, they are. So this is with 200 metres to go. Kerry Makangas, Zoe Bates, Lucy Marland, Lauren Cooper. Those are the front 4 at this stage. Then you've got Yasmin Ostrich in the red of Birmingham, and then the African Violet of Kirsty Walker in 6th spot. Gaps opening up between Makangas and then that group of 3. But here Walker begins to push on, and Ostrich responds, and just look at how she darts her way through. Somehow finds space. Look at Ostrich. The speed of an ostrich. Suddenly overtaking those 4 women, and Cooper says, no, I'm not having that. Comes back through, and then Marland tries to finish fast. So Ostrich is there, so is Walker, and I think Cooper also. It may be Marland that's one who misses out, but they do have 4 next best times and just 2 of these heats. So 10:15 on the clock. You never know, the second heat could also be one with a fairly leisurely pace, and everyone was pretty close to it. It could indeed be more spread out, even if it is faster. So athletes coming back in, and those waiting for the second heat of the women's 3,000 metres about to head out. So meanwhile, the pole vault on the far side, the bar is at 4 meters and 70, and these are second attempts. That was Swansea's Finlay Caldery that we just saw there, the brother of Great Britain international Molly Caldery, who represented England at the Commonwealth Games. I believe they're both coached by their dad. Molly's been out in the States studying more recently. So this second heat of the women's 3,000 metres. Juliet Hodder of St Mary's, as her teammate Lucy Marland waits to see if she can make it through. Daya Knockcover-Hanley of Brighton, Grace Carson of Loughborough, who was 4th here last year, Anna Sharp of Oxford. So we wait for the gun to go. I think Anna Sharp may be making her 3,000 metre debut. No previous time on Power of 10 or listing for that. Emily Stratty of Bristol, Isabel Dye of Bath, 5th over 1,500 metres last year. Lauren Howe of Sheffield, Cardiff Met's Jasmine Cooper, Louise Whittingham of Birmingham, hoping to follow Yasmin Ostrich, her teammate, through, as we see a clearance at 470 in the pole vault for one of the Sheffield Hallam guys. That's George Heppenstall, clearing there at the second attempt. So I understand that is the B final of the men's pole vault competition, and there is an A final also. Well, it's slightly unclear, so let's concentrate on the moment for this. On the track, it's the second heat of the women's 3,000 metres. So it was 3 minutes 19.81 for the opening kilometre in the first heat. So we'll have a look at what it's like when they go through in just over 2.5 laps time. Our early leader though, that's Bryony Gunn of Worcester, and she has a lifetime best of 9:36.67. The England senior 1,500 metre bronze medalist for those championships in Manchester last July. And of course that is where the British Senior Championships will be this year, while the Alexander Stadium in Birmingham is refurbished, or significantly revamped, shall we say, for the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham in 2022. And you just wonder which athletes, part of the BUCS setup today, will feature for England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, perhaps, at those games in Birmingham. Well, we saw Jonathan Hopkins, who was at the Commonwealth Games for Wales on the Gold Coast, which may well have significantly better weather than it will be in Birmingham, but who's to say? You never know with global warming. So Bryony Gunn of Worcester still just about leading, 11 laps to go. And let's have a look, that's leg number 6, that's Isabel Dye of Bath, 9:47.1 is her best. And they're all very much bunched together. You know what, this could be another Sunday stroll. Well, if any of the girls caught a sight of the race, they may have seen how slow the pace was. They may not feel a huge urgency to push on. Grace Carson of Loughborough, 4th here last year, 9:31.5 her best. Is just tucked in on the inside there.
Well, the photo team has sorted out the time that was the finish of that first.
Just waiting to see who qualified from the first heat in terms of the front four. So the photo finish team have read an image from the 1500 metres, and Cooper, Ostrich and Walker followed McAngus home in the end, and it was Marland who just missed out. And the opening kilometre from this first heat is good news for Marland. It was 3:28.59, nearly 9 seconds slower than the first heat, but they do appear to have picked up the pace just a little bit. Still Bryony Gunn out front. So Isabel Dyer, Bath now takes over the lead inside this second of the 3,000 metres. 7 laps to go. 9:47 her best, and now getting more and more spread out. Dyer Bath, Gunn of Worcester, Carson of Loughborough, and then it's the athlete wearing leg number 5, that's Emily Strathdy of Bristol. So if the race stopped now, those would be the top 4 that qualified, but we don't do that. We run the entire 3,000 metres, so 6 laps to go now. And a bit more of a breakaway here. The bar now moving up to 480 in the pole vault with 4 athletes left in. So Dye and Gunn, 2 quite destructive surnames. First and second, Carson in 3rd place, and then Strathdy. Just been handed a start list for the 4x200 metre relay heats, which there'll be 7, and the appetite whetted for those to come a little later on. But first we've got the small matter of settling who will go through to the 3,000 metre final, and then 1,500 metre semi-finals to come. Squabbling for position then and space on this tight indoor track here in Sheffield. Isabel Dye of Bath, Bryony Gunn of Worcester, Grace Carson of Loughborough. Then that gap back to 4th place, and Louisa Whittingham. Her teammate Yasmin Ostrich smashed her lifetime best a moment ago, going some around 15 seconds faster than she has done before. Whittingham's another that has never broken 10 minutes. So they're about to hit the bell and just beginning to pick up the pace, but these three are likely to have qualified. It's Whittingham whose position could be under pressure. Emily Strathdee of Bristol. So really, Strathdee will hope she has a chance of going through as one of those non-automatic qualifiers. A clearance at 480 in the background in the pole vaults. So Gunn from Carson from Dye, and then qualification, I think, yeah, assured there for Whittingham. And then Strathdee. So I believe, by the way, it was Matthew Fay of Bath, 284, who cleared in the pole vaults while we were watching all of that.
And this will be the first of several announcements regarding splits in the relay. The relay splits will be available tomorrow morning from the registration. Splits tomorrow morning from registration.
So coming up next will be the semi-finals of the men's 1500 metres in around 10 minutes time, and then after that will be the heats of the relays. So the men's pole vault A final, in fact it is, and Matthew Fay of Bath just had his first attempt at 490, unable to clear. So let's stay with this for a few minutes. You've got Finlay Caudry there sat down with the long hair. The Swansea student. And next to go will be 647, so that's JJ Lister, formerly of Brunel, now doing a Masters in Loughborough. So there is Lister just picking up his pole. Big day for pole vaults. Hearing the news that Mondo Duplantis has improved on his recent world record from Torun, now 6 meters and 18. Absolutely extraordinary stuff. Unbelievable for the 20-year-old Swede. Very fortunate to see him live last year in Gothenburg, where the home crowd stood up on its feet. Here comes JJ Lister though. So Lister, 4 meters and 90, first attempt. Speed down the runway, planted nicely. Unfortunately, just when he got up to the 12 o'clock position, in fact didn't quite get up to it. You can see a good bit of strapping there on his shoulder. Once again, the Loughborough branded tape. I think it was Nessa Mio we saw had it on earlier. Yeah, just practicing again, because there's so many tricky elements to get right there. So I believe this is George Heppenstall. So if that's correct, he should have number 831. 4 athletes left in at this stage. Yeah, Heppenstall 831 of Sheffield Hallam, JJ Lister 647 of Loughborough, Finlay Caudry 903 sat down, and then Matthew Fay 284 of Bath. Let's go. So building up speed, and oh well, better heights than JJ Lister. You have to be so patient when you get to the top. And it was after he got that height and got to the 12 o'clock position, just couldn't get his body in the right place to complete that clearance. But you feel as though it's definitely possible there for George Heppenstall. So now it's Fay's turn to have a go. This then is his second attempt. Just spotted Bud Baldaro on the outside, the Birmingham coach. The likes of the now retired Hannah England and Mari Smith, of course. So the other athletes watching on as Matthew Fay goes here at 4 meters and 90. So live pole vault here coming from the BUCS Athletics Indoor Championships, and this is the final. So Matthew Fay of Bath really looks keen to get on with this one. Great speed down the runway. Oh, I was going to say good positioning, but once again just about as close as Heppenstall was. Can just tell you who qualified from the men's long jump pools earlier. We had Reynold Benigo, no surprise there, the now Nottingham Trent student. George Orton of Warwick, Callum Henderson of Edinburgh, Kieran Hopkins of Swansea, Robbie Wild of Bath, Daniel Lamb of Birmingham, Morgan Treasure, ooh, beautiful name, of Cambridge, Ewan Urquhart of Glasgow, Alessandro Scianini, another Great Britain Junior International of Strathclyde, Jake Berkey of Birmingham, Ben Fisher of Loughborough, and Nathan Prothero of East Anglia. So those are the 12 names that will take their spots in the men's long jump final. So then JJ Lister, his second attempt at 690 coming up. In a moment I'll tell you who qualified for the men's high jump final and the women's long jump, but let's focus on JJ Lister and his moment here. London 2012 Olympic rings you can see on one set of poles. Bright colours. JJ Lister just wants to focus and get over here at the second attempt to be the first to clear at 4 meters 90. And he does that. Well, good speed on the runway. He just seemed to combine all the elements of the other failed attempts that were positive in terms of good speed, good plant, and patient at the top, and got his body in the right position to complete that crucial final phase and get over and make that clearance. So JJ Lister becomes the first to clear. George Heppenstall will try and follow him over. So Sheffield Hallam man, the pole staying lower there, and he was trying to throw himself over there. Really push. So he'll have one more attempt, and I believe it will be Matthew Fay, who I think is taking out a different pole to try this next one. Bar student. So JJ Lister the only one to have cleared. So of course 4 athletes here and 3 medalists to be decided. Feels a bit cruel in a sense. Matthew Fay, last attempt to stay in the competition and win a medal. Oh, goodness me. Well, almighty whack for that pole. It was just too much on it. Despite the fact he'd done most of the hard work. Gutting for Matthew Fay. He exits the competition. But can anyone else make it over and challenge JJ Lister, who I suppose coming in you'd see as a bit of a favourite? This is George Heppenstall's 3rd attempt, the Sheffield Hallam student. So here comes Heppenstall. Oh, and he's even closer that time, and he's really frustrated that his technique doesn't quite work out. Really cross with himself. So best jump of 480 then for Heppenstall. That was marginally closer than his second effort. Got the height. So Heppenstall, who has a lifetime best of 5 meters and 5, 480 best here today. It's higher than he managed, 10 centimeters higher than what he managed at the Northern Indoor Championships, which he won. .481 this year at Vault Manchester this month, and then his season's best 5 meters and 1. JJ Lister, his best is 5:15. This is his first competition this year. You can see just stretching out that shoulder. And if he is nursing a bit of an injury, then I wonder whether he'll just try and, well, win the gold medal and not jump more than he needs to, maybe. Well, just wondering in fact whether Finlay Caudry there sitting on the outside is still in this competition. It may be that he isn't, in fact. Just watching on, along with some of the other athletes. Well, in any case, JJ Lister, first attempt at 5 meters. So JJ Lister at 5 meters then. Lovely clearance, first attempt, and that's just a mark of his quality. So he is the BUCS champion in 2020. So great stuff from the Loughborough man, formerly of Brunel, winning the title last year also from George Turner. He cleared 5 meters and 10 last year, and Silver cleared 5 meters, so hasn't had to go quite as high. And George Heppenstall in fact finished 4th last year. We'll wait and see what the confirmed medalists' positions are. So, next on track, 2 semi-finals of the men's 1500 metres. We won't have any semi-finals for the women because the heats advance straight through to the final. Top 3 from each heat, then next 3 best times going through to the final. And that final is going to take place at 10 to 4 tomorrow afternoon. So nearly 24 hours time. Well, it's high time we have a look at this lineup, and it features James Hennigan of Cardiff, the 2020 Welsh Indoor 800 metre champion, Thomas Fulton of York, Max Jones of St Mary's, Robert Howarth of Cardiff Met. Then as they head towards the line, we've got Alfred Yabsley in the white and green of Swansea, Jack Cunningham-Marsh of Sussex, Remy Adebayo of Bath, who showed a lovely burst of pace at the end of his heat, the man who featured in the steeplechase at the European Under-20 Championships last year, Alex Gruen, the Australian number of years representing Oxford now, a finalist here in 2018, so can he match that once again at least? 3:47.48 his best. And then Mohammed, who went straight to the front in his heat and more content to sit in here in the semi-final, in 4th spot at the moment. So some tasty semi-finals action now before our relay heats, and these races could be particularly interesting. So of course 7.5 laps at the track. They have just less than 6 to go now, and winding their way through around this English Institute of Sport arena, 200-metre track, and the camera giving a sense of the camber there as they hold the inside line. So 1,000 metres remaining, and 1:25 on the clock. And it's James Hennigan in the red of Cardiff and Alfred Yabsley of Swansea. So at the moment those front three, Hennigan, Yabsley and just about Max Jones. So with 800 metres to go, we've got 1:59 on the clock. So 600 remaining. 33 second lap that time around, and 34 second previously. So getting a bit faster. Well, still the same athletes at the front. Gruen has found a bit of space on the inside with the long hair flopping. Mohammed also in contention. Watch out for Remy Adebayi too. Might have to be patient and wait and see if a bit of space opens up though. Around the same 32 seconds, possibly getting a touch faster. Meanwhile, JJ Lister in the background clearing at 5 metres. Well, he's going at 5:20 and he's had one attempt, so I think looking for a lifetime best. But moving away is James Hennigan of Cardiff, Alfred Yabsley, and now Gruen ups the pace, and Adebayi set to do the same here. Mohammed back on where we'd expect him to be, the 3:48.94 runner. Gruen 3:47 at best, Hennigan 3:49, so fantastic performance from Hennigan. Oh my goodness me, I think Mohammed just snatches that third automatic spot on the line. But Adebayi is happy to be in second spot behind Hennigan of Cardiff. And well, we need to see a replay of what happened there, particularly as far as that third spot is concerned. Alfred Yabsley collapses with his head in his hands down on the track because he was in second spot with 200 metres to go. Alex Gruen now begins to push on, a finalist in 2018. As he followed that up nicely in 2020. So 6 men on your screen. Hennigan, Gruen, Yabsley, Adebayi, Mohammed and Jones. Mohammed back in 6th place here. The BUCS cross-country champion, just missed out on a medal, 4th place last year. And oh goodness me, that is very tight. At first it looks like Mohammed had just dipped, but photo finisher taking a look. So we're looking at the pole vault now. JJ Lister, well, the board says second attempt at 5 meters and 20, so going for a lifetime best with a bit of strapping on that shoulder. So the guys from the pole vault watching on, just having a bit of time. Holly Bradshaw we expect to go in the pole vault tomorrow, so that bit of water just rehydrating, refocusing for JJ Lister. Second attempt at 5 meters 20. Come on, JJ. Harrow club athletes, I believe coached by Egrin Jones, according to his Power of 10 profile. So his season opening competition. So 5:15 his personal best, up 10 centimetres from the year before. Can he make it 5:20? Oh, he almost strapped himself around that bar, and in the end there was no room for comfort, and the bar came down. So now showing that red number 3. Well, I'm not sure if that 3 was updated just after he failed or just before, because it was showing 2 as he was on the runway, so I believe he still has one more attempt, and it appears that way. Second semi-final of the men's 1500 metres is to come, of course. Well, you can join the conversation using hashtag BUCS Nationals on social media. And well, UOB Sport Athletics certainly appear to be on the ball with tweeting out results. And Sport Kiel congratulating Mark Pearce, making the final of the 3,000 metres a little earlier on. They have a good position now on the top bend, watching on. And other people tweeting about other sports. The judo also happening this weekend. Badminton as well. 8 sports, 5 venues, over 5,000 athletes. Judo, karate, swimming, badminton and fencing among those involved. Appears that Anglia Ruskin's mascot, Ruskin the Rhino, has his own Twitter profile and says, gave the BUCS Nationals mascot race my best shot, didn't come last. And BUCS claiming that Brian the Lion was tripped, and there was a controversy in the mascot race. Those are some of the tweets using the hashtag BUCS Nationals on Twitter from the last couple of hours. Let's take a look at this lineup for semi-final number 2 of the men's 1500 metres. Joseph Tuffin of Birmingham, Ricky Lutakomi of St Mary's, who made it through as one of the time qualifiers, Jordan Wood of Cardiff Met, Andrew Milligan of Durham. This is his 3rd race of the day. Oh, in fact, it looks as though he does not start this 1500 metres, so perhaps knackered after the 3,000 earlier. So anyway, Thomas Keane of Birmingham is in this, just towards the back at the moment, with teammate Tuffin. Then John Howarth of Cardiff, who is leading the way with leg number 6. David Sheldon of Loughborough is in second place. James Habergam of Leeds Beckett in third, and also in this one is Nicky Faulkner. So John Howarth of Cardiff, Thomas Keane of Birmingham. Unfortunately, JJ Lister unable to clear at his third attempt at 5:20. So 800 metres to go. Around 1:53 on that clock. .206.8 after 800 completed then. Well, with 3 laps to go, in the first race there was 2:32 on the clock, and here there's 2:21. So some 11 seconds faster, and reasonably close together. No surprise that Tom Keane is up there, the European Under-18 champion, won that title over 3,000 metres for Great Britain in Hungary 2 years ago. Qualifying automatically to that final. Tom Keane lifetime best 3:41.44. Tuffin's PB 3:52.03. His Birmingham teammate, who was 8th last year. David Sheldon now hits the front, 3:48.92 at best. Outdoor semi-finalist in 2017, that's his best. Looks set to go one better here as Ricky Lutukome, also in good shape to qualify by right, even though he was a time qualifier in the heat towards this semi-final. And Lutukome now has lots of pace to burn here, so Tom Keane not likely to be caught out. Plenty of quality up front. Keane of Birmingham, Lutukome of St Mary's, and in fact Sheldon can't respond, and Tuffin is trying to turn the tables. So that's a good battle, top of your screen, and Sheldon really needs to hang on into 4th place if he's going to try and qualify. Well, there will be an opportunity in there. Well, both make it through, but you want to try being 4th rather than 5th. And that time then 3:55.29. So pretty simple then for Tom Keane, and Lutukome very, very strong. Well, he had been further adrift of the leaders in the heat, so this race he was more able to use the pace towards the end. Whereas I suppose for Tom Keane it was pretty similar to his heat. And Keane making his BUCS debut here on this track. So that concludes the semi-finals of the men's 1500 metres. I'll just tell you who qualified from the men's high jump pools earlier. So the top qualifiers, all clearing 190, were Malachi Ger, Mantas Likis, Luke Okosieme, Joseph Miles 185, and Tom Hughes the same height. Then from the second pool, Kalichi Ogorcha, Matthew Grapes with 190, and then all of these with 185, so that was the crucial clearance really. Thomas Wright, Liam Reveley, Stephen Jones, Kieran Short and Ewan Beggs. So then over to the women's long jump, and 3 automatic qualifiers only. They were Jado Dowder, 5.99. Emily Thomas of Cardiff Met, but the best overall was Simona Simeonova of Brunel with 6 metres and 6. So then these athletes have small Q's next to their names, and they are Alexandra Burns of Edinburgh, Katie Waterworth of Loughborough, Livy Connor of Brighton, Mary Adeniji of Cambridge, Hannah Jones of Birmingham, and then Amelia Del Hoyo Perez, the 60-metre finalist yesterday, 5.76 for her. Alongside her, Lauren Davey of Swansea, Ellen Barber of Loughborough, and Emily Gargan of Liverpool. So that means that what is remaining of today is the heats of the relay, so they will get going at 4 o'clock, and there is no field action happening, I don't believe, with the pole vault having concluded, so that means there'll be a quick break and we'll be back just before 4 o'clock for those relays.
between George Sheffield School, Sheffield and Andrew McFarlane of Edinburgh. So I think we need Andrew McFarlane of Edinburgh to presentation ASAP. To join George Sheffield School, Matt Bain and Joe Davis who are already down. So Andrew McFarlane, please to presentation ASAP.
Sound check. Yeah. Complete. And sound check.
So we do have all four medals in the next oval, but we are still going to go with this first heat of 7 in the men's relay. And here they come, thanks guys. Thank you, Gordon. And just to repeat, splits, the relay splits will be available tomorrow morning from registration. Splits tomorrow morning from registration. That's for both the men's and women's 4-1-2. So our teams out for this first of 7 heats, men's 200. Swansea will line up on the inside. Then Liverpool, Oxford, Birmingham and Edinburgh.
So you're back with us here on the second day of action, the BUCS Athletics Indoor Championships, part of the BUCS Nationals multi-sport competition here in Sheffield, and batons are in hand, and that means it's time for 7 heats of the men's 4x200 relay. Well, it's interesting because obviously used to seeing 4x1 and 4x4, but one lap of the track for each of these quartets individually to do, and it may well form a mixture of 60-metre and sprint pace and 400-metre strength and endurance. But everyone has to run 2 bends. Now, it's going to be the top 6 that advance by virtue of their times, so nothing to do with positions. in this first heat will have Swansea. I think that might be Max Heavens, who was involved in the 60 metres there, looks like him. And then Liverpool will go from lane 3, and Oxford waiting in lane 4. Birmingham just relaxing there in lane 5. Sitting on the beach, that's Jake Porter. So even hurdlers and he's just asked to stand up. That was glorious. And then Edinburgh on the outside. Hold your breath, sit down, cup of tea or otherwise. Time for some relays. Well, lane 1 not being used, so 5 athletes sharing the track at one time. That lane 1 isn't used in any of these heats, and the last heat has just 4 quartets. Here we go: Swansea, Liverpool, Oxford, Birmingham and Edinburgh. So Jake Porter had a great battle in the 60-metre hurdles final yesterday. Ethan Akani came away the champion. Birmingham chasing down and now in front of Edinburgh, so into the first handover, and they should lead. So Liverpool there, and Swansea doing really well on the inside following that changeover. So Swansea lead as they cut to the inside here on this second leg. Liverpool in 3rd position. So Birmingham now have the baton and leading Swansea. It's all about the times. So it's possible that no one could qualify from this heat, but Birmingham are trying to make sure that they are in the best possible position with one preliminary completed. Swansea now chasing down. Birmingham just huffing and puffing there, and well, Liverpool somewhere back in 3rd place. The Oxford runner going round the outside there, trying to get a better line. But Swansea take over the lead from Birmingham. Birmingham, the BUCS Outdoor 4x4 champions last year, but Swansea come home nicely, and Birmingham fighting to the line from Liverpool in 3rd spot. Edinburgh and Oxford 1:30.94 for Swansea, and Birmingham 1 to 2 seconds back, but a really good finish from the Swansea man. Let's have another look. Came in hot, the incoming runner, but the outgoing runner really put the power down the back straight. Takes the lead in the top bend, and very impressive. Swansea coaching staff are applauding that there trackside. So that's 1 out of 7. We've now got Leicester, Brunel, Stirling, Portsmouth and Manchester coming up next. So Brunel, the outstanding favourites here. although Manchester sometimes have some strong sprinters, and well, frankly, you never know in the 4x2 relay. But Brunel have so many athletes to choose from. Carol Bruni and David Ryan have both progressed from the 400 metres today, and Bruni has done 200 in the past. As we look at the medal presentation, for the men's pole vault, so JJ Lister, well, he attempted 5:20, but in the end he adds to the title won last year with Brunel here with Loughborough. And now the national anthem of Loughborough. Only kidding. So Fay and Heppenstall silver and bronze. And Heppenstall frustrated that he wasn't able to clear 4 metres and 90. But in the end he does go one place better than last year. So tough for Brunel to pick just 4 athletes to feature in their relay team, so much talent that they have. Even tougher for Loughborough and UEL, I'd expect, if not just as tough. I think Luke Dorrell was a DNS earlier. They've sometimes used Harry Hillman, the decathlete, in their relay teams. As I said, Bruni and David Ryan progressed from the 400 metres. Rory Kuipers is doing the 200 metres tomorrow. His sister Darcy joined us in the commentary box earlier. So Leicester, Brunel, Stirling, Portsmouth and Manchester.
So the first 3 that first beat Swansea in that time of debut of 1:30.94. Then Birmingham in 1:31.18 and Liverpool 1:34.21.
So Swansea 1:30.94, Birmingham 1:31.98 and Liverpool 1:34.21. So quite spread out there. All about the top 6 only fastest, of course, just 6 lanes on this track. So the second heat of the men's 4x200 metre relay. Leicester, Brunel, Stirling, Portsmouth and Manchester. Looks like Harry Hillman is waiting in the wings for Brunel. And the West London University should be favourites. And like a rocket coming through. And now down the home straight, Manchester going well also. And let's see how Sterling hand over. So Brunel comfortable, and then we could have a good battle behind. So Brunel hoping to seal qualification quite comfortably here, and Sterling to put themselves within a chance. At this halfway point, anything can change. So Brunel now onto the third leg and sprinting away nicely. And Sterling were actually holding that gap pretty well. Thought Manchester might be a little closer at this point. Sterling having the target of Brunel some long way in the distance. But still moving pretty quickly. Last leg for Brunel. Sterling have the baton. The length of your screen now separating the top two, and Portsmouth are now in third place. Really strong showing from them. So 130 is going to be bettered from the first heat, 129.70. And Brunel then the fastest team so far, Swansea the second fastest, and then Stirling and Birmingham could be pretty close. Easy as you like. So there will, by the way, be 5 heats of the women's 4x2 to follow. Now this is the third heat, and it features Newcastle, Bath, Manchester Met, Bristol and Durham. Well, Bath had Jimmy Seacombe individually in the 60 metres yesterday. We've also seen Sandy Wilson sprint well. So they could both be involved. Of course, Bath winning men's 4x4 3 years in a row with the likes of Cameron Chalmers and Ben Claridge. What an amazing double act they were, particularly in 2018, and they were so far behind. Cameron and Ben thought they might jog round for a bit, but in the end, some half a lap behind, managed to make up incredible ground. The 4x4 relays outdoors produce some fabulous battles. On the women's side, it's tended to be that Loughborough have absolutely dominated, so it just hasn't been close, but they've had the likes of Kirsten McCaslin, even Niamh Emerson, the heptathlete in recent years, Georgie Rogers, Jessie Knight, Jess Turner, Nessa Miet, so they've just been head and shoulders above. But the men's 4x4s has always been closer. There was race a couple of years. I think it was the 4x4 the 4x2 indoors in 2018, I'm going to say, where Brunel were just pipped on the line by Olivia Caesar of Bath, who's helped win a number of relay titles, as well as really perform well individually. So her old team Bath feature here, alongside Newcastle, Manchester Met, Bristol and Durham. Bath featuring Kirsten McClassen on the women's side. Amy Yaramazovich has been involved. Becky O'Hara. Durham on the outside. Had the likes of Rob Shipley, Jason Hoyle and Will Ritchie Moulin to call upon. Wonder who'll feature in their team in 2020. Newcastle, Bath, Manchester Met, Bristol and Durham. So we've seen 129.70 and then 130.94. So at the moment around 130, 131 mark would be absolutely fine, but still 4 more heats to come after this. So Durham there on the outside. Oh, Manchester Met just about getting that baton in time. That looked interesting. So Bath go into the lead. And Durham now some way back. Will this battle be as good as the Swansea-Birmingham duel? That change could have been a little bit slicker, but Manchester Met still closing. Is that Kevin Metzger there? Fantastic job being done by Manchester Met. Around the outside of Bath. It is Kevin Metzger, the triple jumper, who was in the 400 earlier and is also a decent 100-metre sprinter. But now it looks like on this last leg that Bath are going to come away with victory. So how close is this going to be to 129.7? Oh, way faster, 128.1. And you feel as though Manchester Met have put themselves in a very strong position too. So 128.1 from Bath. So Manchester Met, really impressive there. Try and get themselves a spot in the final, and running around as fast as Brunel. We'll wait and see. And told that split times will come out tomorrow morning for those interested from reception, registration even. Well, the next heat features a Loughborough quartet, and they have so many athletes to choose from. That looks like it might be Seamus Derbyshire there, the 400-metre hurdler. Cambridge Kezia Para was in the 60 metres yesterday. Loughborough had Charlie Dobson setting a new championship best in the 60 metres. And Chris Jones is the 2019 champion over 60 and an accomplished 200-metre runner. Michael Olsen, a great relay runner, has done so for Great Britain. Under 23 team last summer. They've also got Ben Paris, Aidan Leeson, Alex Haydock-Wilson, but Alex still has 2 rounds of the 400 to come tomorrow, so maybe he's someone they could bring in. Though that's more likely to be the case. Certainly didn't see him out there. And trying to spot some more faces, but let's see how this one goes. Heat number 4. Cambridge, Liverpool, John Moores, Loughborough, Imperial and Brighton. I understand that the previous race result has not been cleared, so it's not come through, and that means the race is held, and that means the officials are looking potentially at changeovers or lane infringements. Well, we did see a Manchester Met changeover that was quite close, so we will wait and see. Well, Liverpool, John Moores had some decent runs in the 400 metres earlier. Ben Boyce featured for them. So waiting on the results of the previous race and this one. The athletes there on the start line. And the second lot of athletes are just out of shot halfway down the start-finish straight. And then the third set and fourth set are sitting on benches track side. So Cambridge, Liverpool, John Moores, Loughborough, Imperial and Brighton. And so everyone watching on. Lots of officials you can see out looking at the changeover zones. So good start by Cambridge and even better by Loughborough. Motoring down the back straight now into the top bend. With Brighton right on the outside. First set of changeovers. Oh, coming in so hot. Was that Loughborough man? That was close. But Loughborough have the lead here. Looks like Cambridge are going to blast their way through on the inside. That is Seamus Derbyshire. Again, pretty close to the line. So European Under-20 silver medalist Seamus Derbyshire after the disqualification of Alistair Chalmers in Sweden last summer. And once again, coming in pretty hot. And this is pretty much a done job as far as Loughborough are concerned. Surely this time is going to be quick enough out of the 7 heats. 1:28.1, the fastest so far. Going to be 1:27, you'd think. 1:27.5. Cambridge second. So we'll wait and see whether this race result is cleared or not. And we still have 3 more heats to come. The next one features East London and Sheffield Hallam after that, and then Cardiff Met. Emmanuel Sasanya among those athletes waiting for UEL. So we're going to have Exeter, Sunderland, East London, Chester and Leeds Beckett. Well, Emmanuel Sasanya progressed through to the 400 metres semi-finals earlier today, and he was saying to me yesterday that they'd have a meeting last night to decide who would feature in this relay today, and they'd try and have a good combination of pace and strength, and 60, 200 and 400 competitors. Romel Glade might have been involved, but he was a DNS for the 60 metre final, unfortunately, so it may be that he takes no part in the relay. That seems likely on that basis. Otherwise you feel he would have taken part in the 60 final. Korede Awe did well in the 60 yesterday and could feature. Jonah Efaloko is part of the 200 metre team and helped his side win 4 by 1 gold. The world junior champion. But his 200 metre campaign is individual, yet to get underway, although he may be fresh, so they may choose to use him. Enzo Madden as well. And we saw Joseph Hubbock in the 400 metres. Let's wait and see. Well, long wait for these athletes out here for heat number 5 of the men's 4x200 metre relay. So excited for the conclusion of these championships tomorrow, with all of those finals and eventually the 4x2. So now on their marks, Exeter, Sunderland, UEL, Chester and Leeds Beckett. So UEL getting a good start, just right on the line there. Chester now overtaken, breezing past. Leeds Beckett also. And that's because it's all about the time. So 1:27.50. A win for Loughborough, and they were well ahead of anyone else. Bath 1:28.1 and 1:30.94 of Swansea, but Manchester Met were pretty close to Bath. We do wonder whether Manchester Met changeovers will be looked into, one in particular. But here's Emmanuel Sasanya coming into what looks like Korede Awe. So no one else in sight, in front or behind. UEL dominating here. Sanya watching on. And one more leg to go for East London. Exeter, you can just see in second place. Leeds, Beckett are in third, and they're very close to one another. So here come UEL. May not be quite as fast. 1:31.25. Leeds Beckett just beat Exeter on the line. Well, 1:31.25 isn't guaranteed a place in the final. We know for certain that it's at least 3 teams that have gone faster so far, and 2 more heats remain. And well, yes, I did wonder whether the runner towards the end hurt himself, but he carried on for the benefit of his team here. Let's have another look. So away and clear. So then, yeah, just maybe appearing to be in pain, and carried on for the benefit of his team, and Awe and Sasanya coming over, and medical staff now attending.
Team Manager, University of East London. Team Manager, University of East London. To the track referee, trackside.
Heat number 6 then of the men's 4x200 metres. Sheffield Hallam in lane 1. Regan O'Connell doing well for them yesterday. Winchester in 3. Lane 1 in fact not being used, so Hallam in 2. King's College London are in lane 4. Leeds in 5 and Warwick in lane 6 on the outside there. So once again based on times, and the fastest we've had so far, Loughborough 1:27.50. Six teams to go through across the 7 heats.
Another call, please. Team Manager, Team Manager, University of East London. To the track referee, please.
I was distracted there. I suspect the other side. Can you show me, please? On your mark.
So green card being shown, you're ready to get underway then. Two more heats to go. Sheffield Hallam, Winchester, King's College London, Leeds and Warwick.
Set.
So Sheffield Hallam on home soil. Sheffield will go in the last heat, but Hallam making a great fist of it in the early stages. Warwick there on the outside nearest the camera. First changeovers. Pretty slick from a Hallam point of view. And King's College London are the main chasers just at this point, but Sheffield Hallam going for the time here, and across 7 heats. As I said earlier, it's possible that no one will make it through from one of the heats, and I think that's pretty likely. In fact, it's 100% certain. So 1:27.50 is showing trackside after that Loughborough performance. That looks like Regan O'Connell. So how close can he get? Ideally it would be sub 1:31. This could be the fastest time that we've seen though. 1:26.40 coming up trackside. What a performance from Sheffield Hallam to be faster than those with sprinting excellence like Loughborough and Brunel and East London, but maybe Sheffield Hallam just put their best 4 athletes out there and going for that relay strength, whether Loughborough and East London and Brunel actually saved some of their best talents who have big individual performances that they're looking out for. Hallam the tightest and closest team that really want to win for each other. So some nice changeovers as well from the Hallam guys. So Hallam first across the line. Again, this race result is held even. It's a race hold, so the result isn't confirmed yet. One more heat to go and just 4 teams in that. Cardiff Met perhaps the strongest, but Sheffield, Oxford Brookes and Nottingham will try and do something about that. And there they are. Aaron Owen, that looks like, is going to lead the Cardiff Met team off. Forgive me, there are 1,000 athletes here at BUCS. It's Not possible to recognise all of them. Nottingham, Cardiff Met, Sheffield and Oxford Brookes.
Those 4 teams to contest the 17th, the concluding heat remains 4-2. Nottingham will line up in lane 3. Cardiff Met in 4, Sheffield in 5, and Oxford Brookes in 6.
Well, from a team manager's point of view, relays perhaps some of the most stressful times, picking the right team and getting them to get the baton round in the fastest, most efficient way, because there is a time pressure, of course. Cardiff Met coached by James C. Sheffield by Martin Cook. Sheffield having some particularly good middle and long distance talents over the years. David Dempsey, who I think nicknamed in a previous stream as the Black Shadow, with some great late finishes, making BUCS finals in 3 different events. I seem to remember the 400 hurdles and the 800 metres, taking the indoor title over 800 a few years ago. And Martin Cook actually anxiously watching on. Trackside to my left. James the perhaps on the far side by the railings, where he has been much of this competition. But lots of people gathered to get the best view of these relays. Well, that time from Sheffield Hallam though, 1:26.40. Not too far off Loughborough's competition record that stood for 13 years. 1:26.22. Wonder who featured in that quartet. That was before my time, and it's unfortunately, in terms of archive, it's difficult to know who was in the quartets. Beyond the Loughborough names, university names. So, one more heat. Nottingham, Cardiff Met, Sheffield and Oxford Brookes. So Aaron Owen, 2019 Welsh Indoor Champion, gets Cardiff Met away. And Sheffield with the strong start. So CDM, that's Cardiff Met, bouncing away their outgoing runner. So got to go for the time, got to give it everything, and Cardiff Met in a strong position to do that. 1:26.40 from Sheffield Hallam, 1:27.50 from Loughborough, 1:28.1 from Bath, and 1:29.70 from Brunel. So that doesn't even include those that were second, even though that the winners had large margins. You feel as though winning this heat is very, very important. Cardiff Met on the last leg. And this gap is growing all the time, and Cardiff Met want to try and be sub 1:30. They're going to do that. 1:27.67, so you feel as though that assures qualification. And we'll wait and see if that result is confirmed, but didn't look like any suspect changeovers as Oxford BUCS crossed the line. So the women's relays still to come, of course. So we take another look back at that last leg.
Once again, I'm not going to announce the time.
Oh, you can see the baller there. Was that the incoming Sheffield runner? Now that race result is held once again, so we can't say whether that's a DQ or the officials are just looking at it. It's something that has been mentioned or spotted by one of the judges. So 5 heats of the women's 4x200 metre relay, and they are scheduled to get underway in half an hour's time.
The scheduled start time for the women's 4x2 is 1700. If there's any change to that, I'll let you know.
Well, there appears to be a change to the original timetable. We will wait and see. The women's 4x1 on the start list, 4x2, it says 5:15 on the start list, but on the timetable it says 5 o'clock. So we will return at 5 o'clock.
So we come to our final event of the second day here. We will finish with the women's 4x200 relay. B1 of 5, in lane 2, with Barbie racing. In lane 3, Wilson, lane 4, Manchester, lane 5, Warwick, and lane 6, Sheffield.
So 5 heats of the women's 4x200 metre relay, and so you see those yellow ticks effectively down where the Nottingham athlete is standing. So that's the end of the changeover zone, and it's staggered along the 200 metre track. So the outgoing runner must have the baton in their hands, and it's the baton that must be inside the box. So they've got to have it under control. If both the incoming and outgoing runner have a hand on it, then effectively it's not been passed. It was very close with Manchester Met. We'll wait and see. I understand there have been some disqualifications, but we're waiting news. So Bath, Nottingham, Manchester, Warwick and Sheffield here. Oh, all that anticipation. So the athletes asked to stand up. Well, I expect that Sheffield will have Ella Barrett running for them. She helped them get a bronze medal a couple of years ago. So Bath, Nottingham, Manchester, Warwick and Sheffield once again. Good start from Bath. So Bath, winners of the past of this title. Might call upon the likes of Georgia Silcox, the multi-eventer. Sheffield making a great start on the outside though. Oh, and that was very close to the changeover zone. It is the furthest down the track because of the stagger. But it has cost them a little, perhaps, and the Bath lead now. Georgia Silcox is waiting to take up the baton. So she awaits the pass, gets it just in time. So Sheffield, seem to remember, were second in their heat for the men. It's going to be the same for the women, looks like. Better change this time from a Bath point of view. Sheffield in second. Manchester and Nottingham, and then Warwick. Top 6 fastest times once again. So Bath in 1:40. Sheffield a couple of seconds behind as Ella Barrett crosses the line there. 1:40.32. So easier qualification for the women because of the fewer teams as Warwick crossed the line there.
And the qualifying teams for the final of the men's football are Sheffield Hallam, Loughborough, Cardiff West, Bath, Sheffield, Brunel. Those are the 6.
Well, I understand that Sheffield Hallam, Loughborough, Cardiff Met, Bath, Sheffield and Brunel are the 6 men's teams who qualify to the final. So Sheffield Hallam 1:26.40. Cardiff Met, these are all times that the clock stopped at, by the way. Let's just have a look then. Loughborough 1:27.50. Cardiff Met 1:27.67. Bath 1:28.1. Sheffield was second in the heat behind Cardiff Met, and Brunel crossed the line 1:29.70. So unfortunately East London, the Sprint Kings, miss out on a place in the final. Swansea, the heat winners in the first heat, miss out. Manchester Met also, despite that excellent performance, are out. Let's see who can join them from the women's point of view. Well, I can confirm then that there were 5 disqualifications in total. Manchester Met retain their spot, but Bristol, Brighton, Chester, Leeds and Oxford Brookes all DQ'd. This is heat number 2, the women's 4x200 metre relay. We've got King's College London there, with lanes 1 and 2 not being used. Hannah Kelly, that looks like, for Birmingham, if I'm not mistaken. The 400 metre earlier on, and then mainly a 200 runner, so this should suit her. Then we've got Leeds, Beckett and Exeter on the outside. Another long-standing competition record held since 2009 by Brunel, 1:37.82. Hannah Kelly for Birmingham. In lane 4, breezing through. So they'll hand over the baton, pretty much leading this race. And Leeds Beckett trying to chase down. Birmingham have had some good runners over the years. Wonder whether they might have others to bring in. Indeed, I think 4x2 might be a little bit shorter for Izzy Boffey, who's doing the 200 this weekend. Charlotte Orton, Charlotte Patterson, Becca Williams, Bethan Wakefield, Ruth Onyekwi have all featured for them in recent years. Tayo Ayowawi as well. They won the men's 4x4 last year. So Birmingham having a good run. A nice safe changeover there. So looking for the time, and 1:40.32 for Birmingham, who haven't qualified in the men's race and finished behind Swansea, who didn't qualify either. 1:36, 1:37 on the clock now. That's not going to be as fast. Let's have a look for this time. It's 1:40. The clock doesn't stop track, so ran 1:43. Well, that time does not look right at all. So we'll wait and see. Well, Warwick and Sheffield have both been disqualified following the first heat of the women's relay. So Bath in a good position. 2 heats have gone and they're the fastest team. Birmingham will have to wait and see. So the official time's getting some fairly big adjustments, 0.05 of a second here compared to what you maybe normally see. So a new set of athletes come out ready to try and book their spots. Brunel, Leicester, Bristol, Leeds and Newcastle. So Brunel again with a huge amount of talent to call upon, and they did make it into the men's 4x2, which I'm sure they'll contend. So I can actually bring you the times for the men as well. (1:26.40) from Sheffield Hallam confirmed, 1:27.51 for Loughborough, and 1:27.68 for Cardiff Metropolitan, 1:28.12 for Bath, 1:29.75 for Brunel, 1:29.23 for Sheffield, and Swansea 1:30.94, and Manchester Met 1:32.2 just miss out. No one qualified from East London's heat earlier. Hope their final leg runner is okay after appearing to suffer an injury. those who qualified for the men's 1500 metre final. Hennigan of Cardiff, Adebayo of Bath, Gruen of Oxford, Keane of Birmingham, Lutukomi of St Mary's and Tuffin of Birmingham were all those who made it in the first three. And then the time qualifiers all came from the second semi-final. Howarth of Cardiff, Sheldon of Loughborough and Wood of Cardiff Met. So 3 Cardiff-based athletes make it through, 2 Birmingham-based athletes. Shall we do this third heat then? Brunel, Leicester, Bristol, Leeds and Newcastle. One minute 40.37, the best time so far, and that came from Bath. It's a good start from Bristol, and Brunel there making up ground as you expect on the inside. That's Newcastle here closest the camera. Getting the baton there, they've got lots of time to get that baton. But Brunel are going to lead down the back straight, and they are chasing that time of Bath. And Birmingham, well, it looked to be around 1:43, but the clock didn't stop. Plenty of room to slot in between Bath and Birmingham times. Now on to the third leg. So Brunel leading. Leicester in second. On to this final leg. So there are Leicester in second and Newcastle behind them. And then a big gap back. Bristol only changing over now. So, Brunel crossed the line. It's actually Leeds, my apologies, from Newcastle. 1:42.72. That could be very close to the time of Birmingham. Now this is Leicester. Both have sort of green and maroon in their colours, and then Bristol now. So, quite an early changeover there, but the start of the changeover zone is well before the start finish. So things looking very good for Bath. We still have the likes of Cardiff Met, Sheffield Hallam and Loughborough to come. But so far these quartets have been doing a really good job of running their own races, and you can just see what sort of an impact it has when you're going for the time and not to the sort of tactical races that we've seen, particularly from a middle distance point of view earlier. Well, Birmingham's time was slightly quicker than I thought. It was 1:42.25, so it is actually quicker than Brunel. So Birmingham's second fastest overall at this stage, so in a good position to qualify with 2 heats to go. 2 more heats to come. This one's going to feature Cardiff Met, Liverpool, Manchester Met and Oxford BUCS. So Cardiff Met have had Mika Moore, Charlotte Wingfield in the past. I think that might be Hannah Longdon who raced for them yesterday. Going a bit further back, used to call upon the services of Megan Rogers and Rhiannon Liddington-Payne. Amy Odenaya, of course, as well. So a lot of Welsh talent. Naturally choosing a local university. Just waiting for the Manchester Met athletes. Just maybe sorting out one of her spikes. Well, tomorrow is finals day and it starts at 10:30 with 11 heats of the women's 200 metres, followed by 15 heats of the men's 200, and then at 20 to 1 we've got the women's 400 metre semi-finals. This is all available, by the way, on the BUCS website, or if you Google search for BUCS Athletics. The live swimming is also being covered across the weekend. And then the finals begin at 2:10, the women's 3,000 metres. And there are field finals too. Our predominant focus is the track, but we will try and show you some field coverage also. Cardiff Met, Liverpool, Manchester Met and Oxford BUCS. So Cardiff Met, they're on the inside and now breezing past Liverpool. Manchester Met on the outside, and Oxford BUCS unfortunately disqualified from the men's race. Just slowing down there towards the end, so Cardiff Met now on the second leg. Mel Roberts, another Welsh former Cardiff Met sprinter. Very comfortable now onto this third leg, and the gap growing all the time back to Manchester Met, Liverpool and Oxford BUCS in that order. The gap is the entire length of the back straight. So that means the time is being chased of Bath, 1:40.37, but I reckon sub 1:43 would be good enough for sure. Oh, Cardiff Met went a bit early there, but everything's under control. Long socks. Manchester Met have an almighty changeover mix-up. Their runner had to stop dead. But Cardiff Met, this is out front. So we're looking for the time. It's not sub 1:43, so 1:44.39, and that could be touch and go. Liverpool, then Manchester Met and Oxford BUCS. So the race result not confirmed just yet. Oh, and that arm stretched out like a performance of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Well, all of these races have been fairly comfortable. Bath, Birmingham, Brunel and now Cardiff Met are winners, and you feel Cardiff Met are most at risk. But at least two teams would have to go faster than 1:44, so well, it does mean that you feel it's pretty unlikely that Brunel and Birmingham won't qualify, and Bath are effectively assured a place. There are only 5 teams in this, so it's impossible for all 5 to go sub 140. Sheffield, Hallam, Swansea, Oxford, Stirling and Loughborough in this. Well, Loughborough could call upon Ebony Carr or Alicia Rees. They're 2 finalists from the 60 metres. So this is the final action of the day. The last heat of the women's 4x200 metre relay. The temperature will certainly go up a few notches inside the stadium, so will the crowd noise here. But so many champions yet to be crowned. It's the battles that have shaped up for those finals that we're excited about. Looks like that might be Jenna Blundell to get Sheffield Hallam underway. And Swansea, Oxford, Stirling and Loughborough, the other teams in this. So a real roar inside the stadium for this the last heat. Great speed there from Blundell. Sheffield Hallam, the fastest men's team to qualify of all, of course, but no surprise that Loughborough are quick here. Very comfortable on the outside. So maybe it's a case of the Loughborough time against the Bath time on the clock. Sheffield Hallam are in second place. Oxford are in third. See just those two going through the back of the screen. And Swansea are in fourth place. Stirling are in fifth. So there are Sheffield Hallam in second. You can see the gap growing all the time. Loughborough from Sheffield Hallam. Oxford in third. Swansea and Stirling now battling for fourth and fifth spots. So this lovely wide shot, Stirling now bring up the rear and Swansea in front of them. Oxford in third and in front of them Hallam, and then Loughborough with the win in a time of 1:39.79. So half a second faster than Bath and the fastest time of all. So Sheffield Hallam have a strong chance of qualifying. So final changeover from Loughborough, final action of the day, and in the end this African Violet Quartet set the best time in qualification. But it does look like Loughborough and Bath may well be joined by Birmingham, Brunel and Cardiff Mets. It's how close Sheffield Hallam are to the back of Loughborough. Well, that concludes the action for today, and we're promised plenty of drama and excitement when the finals get underway tomorrow. But the action begins at 10:30 tomorrow. So hope you can join us for an exciting day of action. For now though, thanks for watching and goodbye.